Here's another reason why you want to take control of what you're doing.
Everything kind of funnels into the only winning move is not to play the game.
I don't know, guys. This whole thing sounds pre-recorded.
So I never knew when I came back out of the mountains on Tuesday that I was going to kind of travel back into a whirlwind of crap. But here we are on a Wednesday night, 7:00, which is way off of our time slot. And unfortunately, I went off this morning on a tear on the Weathered View about what was going on with the North Carolina girl that got slashed up and killed. And you can go out and get that on your Captivate or any podcast app that you want to. But I never thought in a million years that I'd get a text from Ken today at I think it was 12:10 that he messaged me and said Charlie Kirk got shot.
My phone blew up as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I immediately went over and went to X and started looking at stuff, and of course the videos were starting to drop, and the close-up shots were starting to drop, and it was you knew when you saw the real horrid video of it that he wasn't going to make it. And
there was no way.
Yeah,
No
unfortunately
way.
There's a man that I kind of hold up to Martin Luther King. And, he was a man of God. He was a Christian. He was a father. He stood for something, and he made young people that followed him in the college ranks comfortable to where they're at in an environment that they're in that is all the way hostile. And I just want to say this out loud, because this morning I kind of ranked myself along with the people that are just so sick and tired and fatigued over what's going on with the crime in our country. And now we got to talk about the political violence in our country, of a man who is just standing up, talking about things and truth and facts and all these things in order for people to reply to him and debate him and either change his mind or have him explain to them why he felt the way he did. So Charlie Kirk was 31, married, 2 kids, and now his life is gone over a senseless act of a guy who just didn't like what he had to say. And I don't know what else to say about it, but we're going to do as much talking and as much opinionating and as much crying or whatever we're going to do tonight. And that's where I'm at with this.
So Bruce, I've thought about this a lot today. We went out for dinner and went out with some friends tonight, which is a good thing because I had to, because I was in a mood. This, first of all, it's not an epidemic. We're not going to have a wave of political figures being murdered. I don't think that's going to happen. But what this really is a pivot point, especially following up on what happened with that poor girl in the subway. These are pivot points in society, and this is what we need to watch. This is the time to activate and do something. We don't need to be violent, but most of us here on the kind of, I'm just going to say on the conservative or libertarian side of the world, a lot of times have just kept our mouth shut in public. When you hear somebody saying something in the story, it's like, whatever. I don't need to deal with this. It's time to stop that. It's time to call people out on things. You don't need to get violent, but if someone's going to get violent back. Watching that poor girl on the subway sit there with 5 people around her, and one of them attacks her, and none of the other 5 people do a thing. Barely even look. One has an idea of what's going on around them in life. It's time to start paying more attention. I'm assuming, and that's just a great assumption on this one, that this guy was out in the woods somewhere. with a rifle and a scope and a pretty good shot. And yeah,
Very good shot.
you're not going to stop that. You know, you're not going to stop that.
Well, they have a video of him up on the roof about 200 yards away.
Do they? I've been out of the
Yeah,
loop here for about the last 5 hours.
Yeah, they have him on the roof, 200 yards away. They also, what's uh-oh? What are you uh-ohing over there? Did he
Bruce
lock
freeze up.
No, we kind of got a glitch, but we're doing all right.
Okay, all right. Don't uh-oh me.
200 yards with a decent rifle. You've got to be trained, but that's not a hard shot.
If I may,
Yeah, jump in.
that old 308 I had, 200 yards was nothing.
Okay.
I had an 8 that scope that I used to have on there.
Yeah,
I could spank a flea's ass with that thing at 200 yards.
right.
You gave me 10 seconds to kind of get my act together and do it. Did you see the close-up video? Because there was
I've
the
seen
two
it.
I've seen.
3 angles, 4
Yeah.
angles I've seen it from.
The one up close where you see the round actually hit him.
Yeah.
Whatever it just, and this is my barely experienced opinion, whatever hit him was a real rifle round.
Yeah.
This wasn't a 223.
Right.
This was something.
That
big
was
and
a 3.
fast.
That was a 308 or a 06.
Yeah,
It
John.
had
John,
something.
let me interrupt.
Sniper
John,
size.
John, you saw a real slow motion thing on it. Tell him what you saw.
It looks like it hit him in the vest. He actually has a bulletproof vest on. It looks like it
Right.
hit him in the vest and then bounced up and got him in the
Ricocheted.
neck. Ricocheted and got him in the neck. And when I first saw, like the first time I saw the video, it was the guy was on a roof and you could see, and you couldn't see the blood. Then the second video I saw was to the up front, but to the left of him. And when I saw the amount of blood came out of his neck, I said, "Oh, he's done.
No, he's dead before he hit the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also another shot, a video from the side, from Charlie's right side. And the guy asked him a question about, trans violence,
Yeah.
of trans shooter. And he didn't even get the answer. And it was over. And then there was another shot of him on his left side. I mean, again, there's almost as much video of this as there was of 9/11, the second plane hitting
Right,
the towers,
right.
because everybody had their cameras trained on them.
Right.
What bothers me is they didn't find the shooter. They thought they had him twice.
Right. Yeah.
And of
They
course,
didn't get him.
my tinfoil hat thinks that this was some kind of psyop or whatever, and they put 2 people in the crowd to distract the police while the other guy slipped away. We might never ever find them.
Yeah. Might not
Because
have been.
they had the second guy had a rifle with a scope, and they're putting him in the car. And then Kash Patel tweeted, said that we let him go. He's not the guy, but we're still looking for him. Now, what's the chances of somebody having a long rifle with a scope and looks like a silencer from in the same area where they have where the shooting's going on, and it's not him?
In Utah, pretty good. That's
Yeah.
not that. I mean, honestly, there's
On a Wednesday afternoon at
yep in a
11
car
o'clock?
driving. Yeah, that believe me, you get out west, that's not uncommon. Just
I
not
don't know.
uncommon.
They say there's too many cameras not to find them. Let me just say this. They still haven't found the Philly Karen that stole the baseball from that kid. They still haven't identified her yet. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I was just so, when this happened, I couldn't even speak. The amount of rage that went through me to take and shoot somebody because you can't debate them. You can't win in a debate. So, and you see this all the time. People on the right are interviewing people on the left, and they just keep asking them questions. Well, why do you say this? Why do you say that? And then when they can't answer anymore, what do? They attack the person that's
Exactly.
interviewing them. And this is basically what happened. And the other thing was that, I've never heard this before, but there was other people, Megyn Kelly, the guy Glenn Beck, they were saying that he had a possibility of being president someday. He was that much of a
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. And now he's
Charlie
gone.
Kirk. Here's the deal with Charlie Kirk. Why he was different. He wasn't going places to stir up a bunch of shit. He was going to places to have a conversation, to
Mhm.
find out, why do you think the way you think? This is the way I think. Let's have that conversation. and to point out the absurdity in some of the arguments that are such, you know, ridiculous arguments that anyone could see it. He was never a jerk about it. He was never incited any kind of violence. In fact, that he put caveats on everything he did. Was just like, no, the peace is the way to do this. This is the discussion that we need to have, and so we can find common ground. And that was his always his basis. So to have that guy be the guy that gets shot, you know, it's like this really affected me today. I mean,
so you're going to see a lot of virtual signaling from Democrats, and it's, in my opinion, all bullshit. Because once this happened, Lauren Boebert wanted a moment of silence and prayer for him on the floor of the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
And the Democrats were screaming no. And one of the loudest ones was, you could hear her, that cackling hood rat, Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could hear her saying no. So they can sit there and, Bruce, I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah,
if
go ahead.
you don't mind.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we can bring this up. But here's a bunch of tweets from the left of what they're saying about this shooting. So you got Nancy Pelosi. This horrific shooting today in Utah Valley University is reprehensible. Political violence has absolutely no place in our nation. Cory Booker, we must call political violence what it is: evil and an attack on our most fundamental values. Now, all these people were sitting there saying that, you know, they need to, you know, we have to attack Trump voters. And, you know, they're all saying that, you know, Trump's a Nazi. And, yeah, I mean, you got Jasmine Crockett, the hood rat. Today's act of political violence in Utah against Charlie Kirk is absolutely disgusting and unacceptable. I mean, so we have all them virtue signaling. But again, I got another one. If you take that down for a second there, sir, or let me get to this one here. This was yesterday. The senator from Connecticut, Charlie Murphy.
Oh, God, useless guy.
Or
Mr.
Chris
Useless.
Murphy, not Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy's it's whatchamacallit Murphy's brother. Let me see if I can run this. Here you go. This is him yesterday.
Like we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
I don't know what else to say when you have someone saying something like that, and then you're shocked when this happens. I mean, I got plenty of videos of people celebrating him getting shot. So,
well, you can remember too with online and social media being what it is, people are being shown what the algorithm thinks that they want to see. So there's echo chambers, and none of this political rhetoric is any different than it's been for a million years. But the difference is now it's being fed to you, filtered, so you're just seeing your side of the story. And obviously, you can make a paper tiger out of the enemy that way very easily.
mm-hmm.
That people that are going to be, mentally unstable, or even totally mentally stable, but just completely believe things that just aren't so, can do something like this, because now they've spent years hating on Trump and hating on the conservatives or the Christians or whatever group you want to pick. It creates a situation where something like this can be easily justified, even by a sane person that is just driven to want to make a radical change. Go ahead.
The same people that have family units just like us are the same people that are demonizing Trump, that are demonizing Charlie Kirk, that are demonizing the values and the morals and the virtues that we all feel as Christian guys. And I don't understand it. And I was telling John before we got on the show today, it's just, I've got to cut more people loose, man. And I feel bad about that because I have to cut people loose. But number one, I'm doing it for their protection because I don't feel like I can handle myself in a situation right now where it would be politically charged. And also, I don't feel safe in their environment anymore just because of the fact that I know that there's some people that are progressive liberals, Democrats, that are really fine people. I mean, they really are. I mean, those ones I know, I can discern them, but there's other ones that hang out with them that I have no idea what their intentions are. And I'm not about to step into a situation where I might act stupidly, because I'm a hothead. I might be 65, but I'm still a hothead, and I don't want to go to jail. I really don't.
It's Charlie Kirk. I was watching some of the videos today of what he was saying. And at one point he said that the Constitution was built on Christian values. And, and if you don't have those Christian values, if you don't believe in God, then the Constitution doesn't really work.
Right.
If you have a secular, I guess, a point
if you
of
have
view,
a secular view,
it doesn't. The Constitution won't work. And right now we have a divided country. We need a divorce. We really do. We should figure out where how they were splitting up the
figure out where the lines
voting
are.
the voting lines.
Right.
Whatever they redistrict
Gerrymandering.
We got to gerrymander the country. We should all the conservatives and all. We should go to one side. And then all the liberals, they can take the other side, and they can do whatever. They can put their communists in there and all, and then we can watch them just devolve into chaos.
Haven't we kind of done that already with the blue cities and seeing what LA and what some cities look like, San Francisco? I think we've already done it. It's just we see it. If I may, we've had this conversation a while back about how people take and they have an opinion. They tie their opinion closely to their emotional response to whatever the idea is. So that when you disagree with their opinion, it's an affront to them personally. And they can't tolerate it because they've not been taught that we all have opinions. We're all entitled to an opinion. Right or wrong, you get to have yours.
Well, when you listen to the news and you watch people sit there and call the other side racists and Nazis and then they go punch a Nazi, then they can justify this violence. It'd be the same way where they would say, well, if you found, if you could go back when Hitler was talking, what would you do? And the Democrats really they have been calling for violence. They have been calling for violence against the right and Trump and his voters.
Absolutely.
And this is what happens. And they can't back away from this. And we're not going to let them back away from this.
No.
In other words,
no.
And I'll be honest with you, these Republicans, they don't have a hair on their ass if they don't storm in there tomorrow and demand that this rhetoric be stopped. And then they stop talking about the other side, the other Americans, just because there's a different point of view, as the enemy. They don't have a hair on their ass. And I will lose total respect for them. So we'll see.
It's not like it's already been done anyway. I mean, we're sitting in a divided country with a divided populace that 50% believes in this, 50% believes in that, or we'd have no. I'm just so sick of people just saying the Republicans and conservative people are just bad freaking people. I mean, basically that's what they're saying right on the line. And that Trump is the reason that all this stuff is falling apart. This stuff has been going on for fucking decades. I was born in the 60s. It was happening in the 60s. It was happening in the 70s. It was perpetuated in the 80s. It gained ground in the 90s. It kept going in the 2000s and so on and so on. And here we are.
This is what you're.
They can't even stop themselves right now.
This is what you're on to, Bruce. It started small at the turn of the last century, 1890s to 1910s. The progressive era started coming in. This has always been happening. If you look at political commentary and political cartoons from like 1900 to 1910, they were absolutely brutal to each other. But it was done in a way that everyone understood that, both sides are probably have something up their sleeve. What we have now is a problem that the small percentage of people now have a huge voice because they're the ones that get shown everywhere. And this is what's causing this problem, because again, it's really easy to just get into a bubble and believe just what you believe. The Republicans are just as guilty of this shit as the Democrats are.
I agree with that.
Everything the Democrats done isn't evil. Everything the Republicans isn't evil. However, both of them have done evil things.
Right. And to be honest with you, I think that it's the one side that is sticking up or bringing along an ideology, as Democrats bring on Islam and then also transgenderism and
right.
and that kind of is tearing down this country. So today, after Charlie Kirk was shot, Governor Pritzker was having a press conference.
God.
Oh, he's terrible.
And here he is, and they want a comment from him.
My sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and to Charlie Kirk, who obviously has become a target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. I know
of course it is.
You don't know who?
Yeah.
All right.
He's so full of shit. He's so full of shit. Right. And disingenuous. You can look in his eyes. He has no feeling in that face.
Look at the
There's
guy
no
behind
soul
him,
there.
almost with a smirk. Or am I wrong?
Yeah,
right,
I'm with you.
Here we go.
They seem to have somebody in custody. But I will say that political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota.
Yeah, so they're bringing up Minnesota.
Political violence occur in other states. And I would just say...
in Chicago.
And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it.
It's Trump.
We've seen the January 6th rioters.
Here's January 6th again.
Clearly,
Jesus.
Have tripped a new era of political violence.
Oh, January 6th did it. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Pause right there.
Right.
Pause right there. Let's roll back January 6th, 2021. Let's roll back to like June 1st, 2020, when Minneapolis, which at the time when everything was burning to the ground, that was 15 miles from my house. And these people were threatening to come out to the suburbs. They were bringing people in from Chicago, your state, Pritzker, to quote the eloquent tones of our friend at, I had to say it, the jelly-filled fuck muppet. People were coming up from Chicago and from Illinois and from other cities around the country, staging in Hudson, Wisconsin, getting into other vehicles where they were being handed signs to go to the protests in Minneapolis. This was all bought and paid for. So when he refers to the January 6th Inquisition, or whatever he wants to call it, sorry, it's just not what it was.
But the thing about it is, we have video and we have the internet, and things never go away on the internet.
Right.
So here he is before this, giving a speech, where again it's the Democrat, it's Trump.
Just pause it quick. Pause quick. Bruce, just show notes. This is what show prep looks like. Okay, proceed.
Sorry.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now.
Is that inciting violence, or am I losing my mind?
It's all over the place. You should hear what Omar says in Minneapolis to her people that are voting her in at 75% of the vote every other year. These people are inciting violence. And here's what they don't understand is there's a lot of people like me that have been keeping our mouth shut, keeping down, keeping our fists unclenched. This changed it this week.
Cody says the volume's low on this. I'll try to, because to me it sounds like it's coming. Like I almost jump when I play these.
It's a little low on that one. The rest of them will sound good.
All right, so here let's continue on to see what he has to say.
Oh, you freaking crazy people. Crazy people. I'm sorry. I can't hold back when I hear this.
It's about their emotions.
Yeah.
They feel good standing up and being part of something big. I was a part of that. I was at that rally. I
would be embarrassed to be at that rally. I would be embarrassed to be at that rally.
Yes,
not if you believed what they believe, Bruce. You'd be proud to be there.
They think they're part of the beginning steps of the great change away from all the whatever, because, and I've been looking it up here because I was curious. I wanted to be at least marginally correct when I say this. It wasn't Goebbels who said, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. He didn't actually say that. It was a paraphrase of something Hitler said in, or Mein Kampfish, where he said, you tell a big lie, big lie, and you keep repeating it, and people will eventually just believe it.
Absolutely.
Out of hand. And that's where we are now. We have a bunch of crazy people, and I see crazy, I don't mean crazy, but I mean disconnected from a reasonable point in reality, who are going and doing things because they feel good about it.
Yeah, and I like what. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You can't stop that, because it's going to go, and they're going to do, and they're going to feel like they did something, and then they're going to go do something else a little bit more. It's kind of like an addict. We're ramping up more and more. We have people on both sides who just keep ratcheting down the activity, and it's just going to get uglier.
Yeah. And I think McSugartits has said it good. It's just like Maxine Waters threatened the jury for Chauvin's trial as well. Maxine Waters has been the mouthpiece for political violence for as long as I can remember. And this woman keeps getting elected. And, you know, I said this morning, that the people that are in these blue cities that are, you know, experiencing this violence, I'm sorry, guys, this is your fucking fault. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to do anything. And whether or not conservatives live there or not, that is their choice. But the fact of the matter is that you guys don't get out and vote. You don't have, like Kenneth said, you know, time and time again, the Republicans don't have the balls enough to freaking get up and do the same games that the Democrats do. And what happens is you got these blue cities that are just going fucking crazy, and y'all fucking deserve it. I mean, if I was God, I'd just say, fuck it. Y'all deserve it. And, you know, and I hate to say that about
pillars of salt, baby. Pillars of salt.
Pillars of salt. Exactly.
So Bruce, I'm gonna go even deeper than that. It's they don't deserve it. They've been fed this by 75 to 100 years of an education system that has slowly, by design, changed the way that people learn on what civics is, what things are, how the government works, what's right, what's wrong, how to run your life. And you know, as the socialists and the progressives at the turn of the century in the 1900s started taking charge, you know, some things happened that are celebrated in this country. Everyone looks at Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt is this awesome president that made the national park system stuff. It was the largest government land grab in the history of the world. And it was wrong on every level, from top to bottom, side to side. Everyone's like, oh, but the Grand Canyon. Okay, great. Most of the land west of the Mississippi is owned by the government. Most of it. Not some of it, not a little bit, not a percentage, most of it.
Yeah, I've looked
from there,
from the map.
From there, they did the same thing in the school systems. They said, well, what we got to do is we're not going to change this and that and the other thing. What we can do is incrementally over 25, 30, 40, 50 years, change the textbooks in the school systems, which is exactly what they did. Remember Common Core? Everyone was bitching and going crazy about Common Core and the math and stuff like that. That was nothing compared to what they did in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. I grew up in Boston. Paul Revere made the fence at the graveyard that was a mile from my house. We had veterans from the Revolutionary War buried in our thing. Did we learn about any of that in school when we were literally 100 feet from this graveyard in my junior high school? No, not once did we even walk over there and see it. The only time we got to see it was on Memorial Day. I was in the marching band, and we'd march from the city hall about a mile down the road to the graveyard, and everyone would put flowers down at the graves of the soldiers and things like that, and then we'd leave, and that was it. You didn't know why you were doing it. So what we have is 3 generations of people, starting with the greatest generation, that don't know shit about what this country was actually founded on, why it was founded on. 95% of the people have never even looked at the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, and almost nobody's read the Federalist Papers. I have, and studied them very, very fine. These guys understood what humanity was about, just as much.
They were 19 years old. None
Yeah.
of them, and most of them died penniless. They died for their country. You know, again, they were the fathers
were
of this
men.
country.
They were men.
Yeah, but
they were men with values and morals and freaking virtue, dude. That's what they were. What we've lost in this country is every single one of those. There's very few of us. Most of the guys that have, you know, morals and virtues and such like that are old guys like us. You know, there's you know, there's young people that are coming around, and Charlie Kirk was the mouthpiece. He was the mouthpiece for those people, man. And I am so freaking pissed off that somebody decided to take his life, man. I am so sick and fucking tired of these whining crybabies that think that they are entitled to something that they never ever fucking worked for, that was given to them only because of the fact that they were born in this country, and they feel that they are entitled to something that they have never ever fucking earned.
Well, right now, I think that they feel like they quieted Charlie Kirk, and that the other Republicans, you know, people that go out and talk like Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool and you know, all these other Republicans go out, they think that they're going to stop them from going out because they're going to be afraid. And I don't think that's happening. I think
opposite.
I think they're going to double down. And they're going to go hard, and as they should. And
this is the beauty. Sorry to interrupt, John, but this is the beauty of Charlie Kirk. I've been following him for a long time, since he first got on the scene as a pretty young kid 10 years ago. Everybody that met that guy liked him. So if you're looking at the pundits now, you know, you can always tell when some tragedy happens, the pundits, oh, it's so sorry, and we feel for your family. These are people. Glenn Beck was on there. Now, Glenn Beck's a crier. I am too, so I understand that. I don't hold that against him, but they were very close friends. So was him and Sean Hannity. And Sean Hannity, it was everything he could do to not hold back today. I can't stand Hannity, but I had to listen to the radio to find out what was going on today, so I put him on because I know he'd have some real information. He was well loved throughout everybody in the conservative movement. Libertarians, hardcore conservatives, neocon, they all loved Charlie Kirk because he was literally speaking truth to power. The power being the progressives.
He was a fantastic debater.
Exactly.
You know, and he knew what he was talking about.
But he would have a conversation with a person.
Right.
And he would let them talk.
Listen to them
talk. And then respond, and then talk more. And people got pissed because he very quickly was able to show them that they're morons and they don't really know what they're talking about. Again,
so there's three people that have been incredible in the last 5 years: Charlie Kirk, Jordan Peterson, and that guy that plays a rock and roll song. Who's the third guy? that threw me off. But anyway, these are the people that have had the conversations. On the left side, it's politically incorrect guy, Bill Maher.
Oh, Bill Maher.
He's been able to. So I watched, and one of the greatest things I ever watched was Bill Maher and Jordan Peterson having discussion over what they disagree on, and it was an actual discussion. Neither of them called the other one an asshole. Neither one said you're an idiot for believing this way, you racist, you know, or you're just a mouth breathing, Neanderthal. None of that. It was you know what? I hadn't considered that thought. That might be, but what about this? You know, with this angle here, how does that fit into the argument that you just gave? These are the discussions we had to have. Charlie Kirk was one of those guys that could have that. Ben Shapiro is another one. A lot of people don't like Ben Shapiro because he's a fast talking Jewish guy that they don't like, but he can have that same kind of debate. He will have a debate he'll listen to what you say, respond to it. And if you're intelligent enough and patient enough to have a real conversation, you might change his mind. He might change yours, but you have to be willing to be open to do that. The Patrick Bet-David surrounded episode that was just on proved out so much of what's wrong in this country. Here you have a guy, agree with him or disagree with him. He's a reasonable guy that honestly wants to help people. And half of the people that were yelling at him, he could have given them a career that would have changed their lives, their children's and their grandchildren's lives. But instead, they just went, nope, you bad because things. And they didn't even listen to a word he said. We need to listen to each other.
The backlash is coming. And like right now, it happened late in the day. A lot of the people that had shows had already done their shows. Tomorrow, I can't even imagine. And tomorrow is 9/11 too.
Yeah.
It's the 24th year of 9/11.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's going to be a tough day. That's one of the, like I said, when Bruce said tonight, hey, we're going to go to, this is way past my bedtime. So when Bruce said, hey, we're going to go tonight, I'm like, what time? Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, I have to talk about this, because by the time we started this, then I was able to gather my thoughts and think about what happened here and where we're going to go with this. And I don't think that the people on the left that I don't think they really know what they're getting into, because we've had enough. I've already had enough of I have to celebrate an ideology that you're out of your mind. I mean, you're going to sit there and celebrate mental illness. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay. There's a lot of stuff with socialism. We've watched this. We've watched other countries do this. It doesn't work. And you're going to try to shove us down our throat. We're not doing this anymore. Okay. I'm done with crazy. All right. I'm not entertaining crazy anymore.
Yeah.
And this right now, I swear, if they don't find this guy by tomorrow, whoever shot Charlie Kirk, I'm really, really wondering if this is some kind of psyop government thing. Maybe not the government, but paramilitary.
John, 5 years ago, I would have said you're nuts for even bringing that up. But after what happened in COVID, everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. I don't think you're crazy. I think that's a strong possibility.
Yeah. Go ahead, Christian.
An idea just popped into my head, and then what John said and what Ken said just made me take a. Sorry, I'll get back to it. Keep talking, guys. Oh, sorry, came back to me. Sorry, that was that fast.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner.
It's like an idea pinball machine in here right now. Here's what I think. I just want to say this out loud. I know you all are, and when I say y'all, I mean probably all of you who can hear my voice right now are reasonable, calm, sane people.
And me.
I don't even say you could say that for the 4 people that are in here. But go ahead.
Well, but reasonable, sane. We're not setting the bar very high there.
Yes.
We're just saying reasonable and sane. Okay-ish. If you were on a subway and you saw somebody get stabbed in the neck, you're going to put your phone down and you're going to go at least try to render aid.
Exactly.
I saw a video that was not edited of that interaction.
Yeah, I did too.
And the horrible people, they pulled out their phones.
Mm-hmm.
They just recorded it instead of trying to do anything positive for anybody.
Why? Because
they wanted to get views on their page.
No, that's not why. Because in New York City, an ex-Marine or a Marine stood up and took down a mentally ill patient on the subway. And while the guy was struggling, the Marine broke him, choked him out, killed him. All right. And then he spent the next year and a half
getting destroyed.
Destroyed in legal. Thank God that people GoFundMe basically most of his legal fees. But he almost went to jail for I don't even know how long for manslaughter. Instead of saying thank you very much for being a good citizen and protecting the people on that train, he ended up getting, again, the people in these democratic cities are more worried about the criminals. Even in North Carolina, the people in North Carolina are coming out and saying, oh, we shouldn't say, he had a hard life or whatever. I don't care if he had a hard life. He just stabbed somebody in the neck 3 times because she was white. And they say, oh, you can't say that because she was white. Yeah, you can, because they got a video of him saying, I got that white girl. I got that white girl.
Yeah, we're
saying give me that nonsense that it's not racial. It is racial. So let's stop sticking our head in the sand.
Stop playing.
This isn't defense of the guy. That guy that stabbed that woman in the subway, he was capital K crazy.
Regardless,
shouldn't have been on the street.
He should have been institutionalized somewhere where he could not hurt anybody else. And the judge that released him the last time knew it.
Should be disbarred.
Out.
The judge that let him go should be disbarred.
John, like you just said, it's the system. We have got a system that does not do what the system is supposed to do. It does how we feel about things.
Right.
And that's ugly, because if we don't keep this set and use law, our feelings change occasionally. And next time it's going to be different. And now we're playing whack-a-mole with life. And at one point, whack-a-mole gets to be a little bit ugly. in the big picture.
See, the Democrats don't want people to fix things. Donald Trump saw what was going on in D.C. when Big Balls got attacked and they tried to, to carjack him. And then he sent the National Guard in there, and within 2 weeks, he had the whole place straightened out. They're cleaning the graffiti. They're picking up the trash. Their crime was down. Carjacking was down 83%. And they showed the people of the United States how easy this is to do if you want to do it. And now he's saying, listen, we're going to go to Chicago. We're going to do this and all. And they're freaking out because they don't want this fixed. No one can tell me any different. Why wouldn't you?
It's just as much a business of crime as it is for homelessness and is for everything else that is their little baby, that they want to fund. Any type of social safety net that they have is funded by the government. They don't want to lose that tax money. They don't want to lose the status that they have. They don't want to lose their minimalist type attitude that says we are the minority, so therefore we have the big voice. And it's sickening because those of us that are actually paying the taxes, those of us that are actually supporting this stuff, we're sitting back and we're going like, what? Look, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And now one time that we start, having a voice, having somebody like Charlie Kirk come out and say, look, this is wrong. This is the way I think about it, but let's talk about it. The guy gets shot in the neck. He's dead.
Let me put it this way to you. John said something that's very good, very poignant. They don't want the things fixed. They actually do want it fixed. They don't want to fix it the way that it would actually work because it would prove the other side is right and was right the whole time. It's a Ponzi scheme of ideas. This is what the left does. It's all good intentions. It's all we're going to help you. The man has held you down, and whoever the man is that day, that's who they point to. But what they realize is the man is the one that has some of the solutions are the man. The idea that putting National Guard in Washington, D.C., I had zero problem with it. It's a federal land. That's what you need to do. I have huge problems with them doing it in any other city. However, it's exactly what needs to be done. But Pritzker knows that. He wants it fixed, but he knows my personal aspirations are over. If I say, you know what, Trump, come on here, we'll make a side backroom deal. It doesn't matter. Trump will take the credit for it, and Pritzker will look bad. Everything will be fixed, but they won't have a future. And that's what's important to these people is the power. It's not wealth, it's power. And, absolute power corrupts absolutely, of course. You look at Ron Blagojevich, remember him, Rob? Governor?
Yeah, Blagojevich,
yeah. So he got pardoned. He came out on a tour for a while on all the talk shows, just absolutely spitting truths and telling exactly what happened back then. And it got quelled right away for whatever reason. You can only imagine. But it was really interesting to listen to because he just, everything we talk about that, the conspiracy theory, they're all real. These things are real, that these groups come together and say, okay, let's pick this city. This is ripe. And Minneapolis was ripe. During COVID, they were looking at every single city. Wherever the problem was going to start, we can make that 1,000 times worse. So then you had George Floyd, a guy that overdosed in police custody. But there was a video out there where the guy's knee on his neck. Now, if you've watched, it's a documentary. It's brilliant by Alpha News. Burning Minneapolis, or what's that? Do you remember the name of it, Christian? You know the one I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And the lady who
nailed it.
And
not in a partisan way. It was done in a way that's like, here's exactly what happened. Here's the chronological happenings of what happened during those times. And I was watching it because if during those George Floyd days in the riots, there was dozens of people on the ground with pretty big YouTube channels that were recording it the whole time. I was watching the whole thing live. I had 3 TV sets going, the same thing. And when Rittenhouse, down in Kenosha and all that was going, same thing. I was watching that too. And I'm just like, what they reported is not what was going on in the street.
No. And then he also said that, you talk to people after that, they thought that he shot 3 black men and killed 3 black men.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. And listen, I'm a high school educated, I'm an idiot. Okay. And I can fix
You're
this.
among good company, my friend.
I can fix this. If I was Trump and I was the Republicans, you have these Republican states with shithole Democratic cities in there. I would have the Republican governors say, I want the National Guard to go into these cities like Bob said, Birmingham and all that.
Exactly.
Go in there and clean them up. That way, you know what? Hey, the governor called for this and we sent them in there. And then then the people in the country can see that here you go. This is how you fix this. And you go around and you fix this and you straighten it out. And then sooner or later, even the Democrats that are getting carjacked and raped and mugged and all this other shit that's going on, even they're going to say, you know what? I'm a liberal, but I would like not to be raped and mugged. So maybe we should do some of that here.
I'd like to not die today. Yeah.
And here's where the Republicans are going to drop every ball in every city around the country. They're not going to put anything into that because there is an enormous amount of liberal people that will not say a word about who they voted for and go vote for the anti-crime person. That's usually going to be a Republican and just not say anything to anybody.
Yeah.
But if there's no good Republican and this is where the Republicans lose it because we were all sitting there like, oh, it's a lost cause. Let's not even go in there. Democrats never think anything's a lost cause. Right. Never.
Yeah. Let's take a minute and welcome Duchess to the panel. Yeah. That's okay. Thank you for being here, Duchess. I know that it was a rough morning for us, and it turned into a rough day. And I just know that my heart was with you, and I'm sure that your heart was with everybody out there, and Charlie Kirk's family, and just the news of what happened today, and that's what we're talking about today. So I know that you know that, and just wanted to get your feelings on some of the stuff that we were already saying, and if you're just new into here, just kind of give us your insight on what your day was like.
Yeah, well, I mean, the day was the day, and then all of a sudden, the news starts popping up. John texts, bump, and then as I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I'm sure you guys, I'm not going to go too deep because I'm sure you've already covered all of this, but just that video horrified me. Like it was, there should be warnings on that. Just to see it over and over and over and so vivid and so awful. I sat at my desk and cried because I just couldn't believe, like, I just watched someone be assassinated, like just real time. That was horrible. And, I don't know what's going to happen with Turning Point. Like, obviously that's not on anybody's mind at the moment. But I hope that it is able to continue and that poor Charlie's death. And while I didn't agree with everything he said, no one should die for free speech. No one should die for speaking their mind. And I hope they continue his, I'll say, legacy. They keep it going. I didn't agree with everything, but he had the right to say it.
Well,
exactly.
Cody had an interesting actually question here. Let me bring it up here. And let me see, where is it at? He asked, do you guys think that what happened to Charlie will be the end of these types of public speaking events? I mean, that'll be an interesting question to throw around.
You're going to see these pop up everywhere now because that's what's going to happen. I know people like myself. I'm after this happened right away. I basically, Bruce, you and I talked, and I'm like, we got to go on live tonight. We have to get on there.
I have
I'll give you my address. You want to dox me? You want to come over here and stuff? Come on over, motherfucker. Because if you put 50 people in front of my house yelling and screaming, do you know what I'm coming out with? Arms, fire, brimstone. And then we're gonna have a conversation. The news is gonna come here, and you want to make me look crazy? I don't even care because it doesn't matter anymore.
I have the email that Turning Point USA sent out to all their employees. I don't know, Bruce, if you want to bring that up.
Well, quickly, while you're bringing that up, let's see. Boomer Bob show us that they have bulletproof shields they can put up. I've got shit that'll pierce that. Trust me.
Yeah, but do they? It says, "Dear Turning Point USA family, with heavy heart that we, the Turning Point USA leadership team, write to notify you that earlier this afternoon, Charlie went to his eternal reward with Jesus Christ in heaven. We are still gathering more information and will come to you soon with updates. However, in the meantime, Turning USA and Turning Point Action will be closed for the business until Monday the 15th, likely longer. If you are in the field or traveling for business purposes, please cancel everything. Return home immediately. All internal and external meetings, Zooms, etc., are canceled through at least the 15th. Again, very likely through the end of next week. Please pray. Sincerely, Justin. P.S. Please contact the HR team if you're in need of grieving counselors or resources. So, I mean, it has shut down Turning Point USA, but I don't think that they're going to. Okay, but let me just say this to you.
Okay.
Charlie Kirk was Turning Point USA.
Yeah, he was everything.
Of course.
Who are you going to get to be the next Charlie Kirk? They didn't make him yet.
No,
To be
exactly. And that's why I say he's the MLK of this generation, and especially of the young generation of these college-age kids and these, these people that want to have a voice, who want to have a free voice, who want to have a voice that nobody's going to actually, I don't want to say argue with them, but at least have an across the aisle handshake situation where you can talk decently. And it's
on the positive, Bruce, on the positive. Let's look at this. What Charlie has done for the last 4 or 5 years with going to these colleges, he has garnered thousands of followers, millions of followers, but thousands of really rabid followers that are young people that will pick up the torch. I honestly believe these people are going to watch this happen and be like, not in my freaking country. Now you can look at it and go, okay, there's no reason to shoot him other than from what he was saying. There's absolutely, that's just not a random guy. I'm going to shoot somebody in an event. He was targeted and picked out for that. And even if he wasn't, that's the way it can be portrayed. And that's what they're saying. They're like, oh, conservative rabble rouser gets shot for saying it. And the way that they're putting this is it sickens me. And I'm not going to get into a bunch of debates on Facebook and Twitter. And I just, that's worthless. But it's in person, when I'm in the store and I hear somebody saying something, I'm getting all up in their face, and saying, this is what you guys wanted. Okay. This is what you have promoted. This is what you have awarded. And
it's time to eat your cake. It's time
at the end of the day, if you can't look at these two tragedies in the last couple of days and say, I don't care what politics were involved, what race was involved, this was pure evil. Pure evil. And if you're going to make some justification for it the day it's happening, within hours, you're evil too. You're an evil person if you're going to look at the murder of somebody like that.
Yeah.
I hated everything he says. But you know what? He wasn't saying things that was like, kill people and no one should have a right to say anything, and that was never anything he said. And to kill him, Duchess, I'm going to be honest with you. I was in tears today too. I was in tears at work. I'm barely holding it together right now. Watching this father, and I don't know. It affected me so deeply.
That's the hard part. That's not how you change minds, by killing people.
Right.
No.
That's not how you fix things.
You change one mind by doing that.
You know who does that?
Just creates more violent. Well, that's how you make things worse, not better. So clearly, there are people out there who don't want to make things actually better.
Correct.
They just want to foment more destruction.
And it's going to work because, the first thing I wanted to do today is quit my job and drive out to wherever there was a bunch of these kind of people and just absolutely lay waste to them. And that is completely irrational. It's not something, of course, I did. It's not anything I would do because I am a rational person. But my first thought was,
I told you,
revenge.
It was revenge after 9/11. After 9/11, 9/11, I was 32 years old, and I watched that happen, and I'm like, kill all of them. Kill them all, every one of them. Burn it to glass. Burn it to the ground. I don't care. Nuke and pave. That was my thought. So when Bush went into all these stupid wars for that, I was behind him 150%. And I knew what I was wrong on every level. But I had emotion. It was emotional.
See,
Kit
there's
Russell
the emotion
says,
again.
what about Scott Pressler, who's another Republican advocate who is in New Jersey now trying to flip this state, and also was very what he did in Pennsylvania was one of the reasons that Pennsylvania flipped the red, and one of the reasons why Trump won. And this is where they go after him. So I say we got to protect Scott Pressler too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be protected. You know, I'm not a veteran. Christian here was. You know, Christian here's treated people.
Coincidentally, I still am.
Really? When did you go back to being a veteran, or?
Once you are one, you always you
no
don't
kidding.
lose it.
That's the way that works. Oh, see, if I'd have known that, I'd have jumped in.
I'd posted a redacted copy of my DD 214 right now, but I don't have it handy.
I thought it was like a dotted. I thought it was like a dotted line. You're like a veteran for a few years, and then you're civilian, the veteran, civilian.
Drift back, yeah.
I get things wrong.
Can I jump?
Bruce was a veteran too, but he was actually in the Navy. So really, you know.
No, I was in the Air Force. I was in the Air Force.
Oh, it's worse.
Same thing up in the air.
Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead, Christian.
So, and I didn't really do this on purpose with this in mind, but I would like to just say, because I understand, I was angry after 9/11. Today, I'm angry. I don't understand how somebody could be so evil to do this to another human being. And I think to myself, what am I going to do? First off, I'm going to make sure that I don't let my kids go and watch YouTube by themselves, because some of the stuff that I watch, some of the political stuff is going to bleed over into what they watch, because we use one account so I can keep track of it all. Right. So my kids don't get to watch YouTube by themselves now for a month. Yeah. That's one. The other thing I'm just thinking about, and the picture here works out really well. I know you want to go and mow them all down, but that's not how you win. If it's time for a little bit of a revolution, it's time for us to get on the boat and cross the Potomac, which, help me out here, also high school educated. Is that what happened in history, to cross the Potomac?
No, Delaware, but that's okay. Go
ahead. It was Delaware, and a storm came in, blocking them from being seen, and they were able to cross without being seen because of the fog.
Well, I'm glad we've got two
divine intervention.
At least Dutchess East Coast also. Anyway, people who have been to those things enough times to know what's going on for real. Anyway, it's time for revolution. But this revolution can't be won with violence.
It wouldn't work.
Yeah, there's no such. You can't have a non-violent revolution.
Well,
it's like hamburger steak and military intelligence. It just doesn't work.
You can have a social revolution, and that's what you're talking about.
We need a change in culture.
It happened in the 60s.
It's got to start with the young kids. We've already lost 2 generations. We've already lost the millennials, and we've already lost Gen Z. Half of
Gen X doesn't care.
Gen X doesn't care.
Yeah, Gen X checked out.
Boomer Bob has the feeling that I had. I feel more disgust than anger over all of this. And when it really comes down to the people that I know, the people that I hang with, that there's some of them that are feeling bad right now. There's some of them that haven't reacted to the whole thing, although they react to my post immediately if I have something to say that's alternative to their agenda and their motive. But for the most part, I'm breaking ties because of that, and I'm disgusted. I'm just disgusted because they say silence is violence, and to me, when something like this happens, if you're not immediately just disgusted or angry or want to do something, then you're heartless, you're soulless. You have nothing. There's no fire inside of you, and you have to have a fire inside of you to say something. Say something. Yes. Even if it's I'm sorry, even if it's thoughts and prayers, even if it's ban guns, I don't care. Say something, but don't be silent.
You think you're mad now? Share my screen.
Here we go. Oh gosh, here we go.
No. Oh no, please don't.
Sword, he did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
Skank. What a despicable human being.
Yeah, that right there.
That's unacceptable.
That's summing up the anger I have. That's when I say I am not Mr. Nice Guy anymore. Anyone I hear somebody say that, and again, chasing him down online does nothing. So just let them say what they're gonna say.
But you have to prepare.
But
you have to know what to say when you hear crazy. You've got to have a prepared. You have to have chambered a magazine full of responses, so you know what you're going to say. So that here's an example. Can I give an example quick? Can I go off on a little tangent?
Yeah.
I live in Sioux Falls. It's very common. By the way, all of you, just South Dakota is awesome.
Wonderful. South Dakota is awesome.
I was downtown Sioux Falls, and normally it's whatever. It's no crime. It's easy, no problem. It's wonderful. This lady was walking up trying to get people to sign a petition. And so I thought, well, let's see what this is. It was a petition to add abortion to something and make it to completely throw off the conservative rules we have here about how it's all done. And I said, hold on. Guess what, lady? I'm going to ruin your day because I've got in my magazine about 6 things to say to you ready to go. And I gave them all to her. Slowly, I made her stand there and listen to me say the things.
Correct.
Because, she's going to stand. We're in the Midwest. We're going to be reasonable to each other to a point. And I slowly destroyed her. And eventually she just said, okay, thank you. And I wouldn't let her walk away. I said, well, tell me what you think. How do you feel about this? You're killing babies. But I said, no, you're killing babies. And I went through the whole thing again.
It's what John's saying here. He says, I got emotional today when my daughter came home from school. I gave her a big hug when she got off the bus. It crushes my heart that Charlie's too, he's got a boy and a girl.
Horrible.
We'll never see their father again. That's not true because there's plenty of work out there of Charlie Kirk. They won't be able to see him. They won't be able to hug him. That's horrible. But they will get a chance to see him and know him. And that's
learn his legacy because
exactly
right.
My guess is Charlie's raised the children in the Lord. I'm pretty sure they'll see him again. It's just going to take 70 or 80 years.
You're right. It's going to be there. It's going to be there. I just, to see the beautiful family that is left behind, and this, like I said, this is what disgusts me the most. This man was 31 years old, beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids, just out just saying truth.
Talking.
Can I mention this, Bruce? Bruce, can I
to people? Yeah, go ahead. Talking.
This is in the same vein of exactly what you're talking about. Let's take the political world out of it. Let's take the United States of America and what you can do here. Through just the power of his voice, he created a multi-million-dollar operation. Was able to spread information, good information, and across the country, across the world, really. And the whole world is mourning this right now. This is he's the picture of the American dream snuffed out by evil.
Literally, yeah.
It's going to be a shame if Turning Point USA can't continue. It's going to be a shame because then they feel like they won.
They might.
They took down the whole organization, which was basically going in and re-teaching the students that they were teaching. In other words, they're ruining everything that the professors and the liberals were teaching them. Charlie Kirk was turning that around and talking common sense and actually bringing them back, and that's why they couldn't have this. And by doing this, if they take and tear down Turning Point USA, which was in colleges all over the country, there's chapters all over the country, that would be a shame because then they feel like they got to win.
John, you have something up that you wanted to share?
Yeah, because the first thing that MSNBC wanted to do is they wanted to go into basically cover your ass mode, and they were worried. Now they're worried. They're worried about what's going to happen next. Maybe the conservatives will have somebody, and there'll be more violence.
People are really upset, and they start lashing out online, and they start blaming others for what led up to this. I mean, we see it when Democrats are targeted. We see it when Republicans are targeted, and we're seeing it with this. Anna Paulina Luna, who's a representative from Florida, has put this out on X. She's blaming the Democrats. She's blaming the rhetoric the Democrats use calling Republicans fascist. She's saying you are the hate. If you're in the FBI field office and you see this sort of stuff bubbling up online, how worried do you get about somebody taking up the cause of Charlie Kirk and lashing out on somebody who's seen as a Democrat or somebody who is a Democrat?
Now you're worried. Now you're worried. It's a good worry.
Exactly. Yeah,
you should be worried.
I've got something to share here too, if that's okay right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Dennis Prager, who you guys may or may not know. He's
Yeah, I know
another guy that a close friend of his. So he put out a statement. My sister just sent this to me from an hour ago. I'm going to read it. It's not super long, but it's not super short. But hopefully I can get through it. So Dennis says, here's the Dennis Prager, just so you guys know I'm not making this up. He says, as an American, as a Jew, and as Dennis, I am devastated at the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The truth is, as I write these words, I can't believe I am writing them. I am in a denial stage of mourning. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
He's summing up what I feel here, so it's hit me hard.
Hey,
yes.
You want someone else to read it, Ken? I can read it. You send a text it to me, and I will read it for you. Or do you want to do it?
Let me work through this.
Okay.
It's important I can at least function. As an American, we have lost the most articulate spokesman for America and its unique value system, a country founded to be free based on Jerusalem and Athens and Judeo-Christian value system in the Greek emphasis on logic and reason. I almost said emphasis because sometimes I get it on the wrong syllable, but I have to take a side. Anyway, Charlie was a uniquely gifted individual who in his teens created the largest movement of young Americans committed to preserving and growing America and its ideals. He tirelessly went from campus to campus, from Oxford to Utah, dialoguing with any student who wished to debate him, which is true. Using his vast reservoir of facts, his exceptionally speedy and articulate mind, he gave them what seemed to be an unlimited amount of time, and then calmly eviscerated all of their anti-American, anti-Western, and anti-Judeo-Christian positions, which he did very well. I watched an inordinate number of these exchanges, and thank God that Charlie Kirk was there to do his work. America's youth, in particular, have lost a moral and intellectual leader, one who would perhaps have one day become their president. That's what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
As a committed Jew, I thank God regularly that a non-Jew, a committed Christian, became one of the few great public spokesmen on behalf of Israel and Jewish communities outside of Israel. Few Jews could match Charlie's knowledge in eloquent arguments on behalf of those two entities. As Dennis Prager again, I've lost a very close friend. Charlie repeatedly visited me in various hospitals. For those of you that don't know what happened to Dennis Prager, he had a fall. He's been hospitalized for months. He was barely pulling through. Anyway, so he had visited me in various hospitals that I have been in since November 12th of last year. I'll give you an idea how long he's been laid out. When I suffered a catastrophic fall, which left me paralyzed, or when his members of the nursing staff heard that Charlie Kirk was visiting me, my room became the most popular one in the hospital. Charlie brought me the manuscript of his forthcoming book, arguing that everyone, Christians as well as Jews, should observe Shabbat, the Jewish Sabbath, just as he and his family had begun to do from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. It was a measure of our close text coming in. It was a measurement of our close relationship that he dedicated the book to me. His brilliant exposition of these arguments provide clear evidence for the non-necessity of a college education for most young Americans. That's a big deal. He says, all right, my heart breaks for his widow, Erica, and for his two children who have lost a great man, a father, as great of a man and father as children can have. And for Charlie, who did not live to see them grow up. For one of the first times in my 20 years with my wife, Sue, I have seen her sob uncontrollably. It's almost over. The Prager home is in deep mourning, as are the homes of countless Americans. The loss to us personally and the country is generally immeasurable. I made it through, guys. That was rough, but that summed up where I'm at with this. I'm deeply hurt, and I just thought that was a really good explanation of Charlie Kirk.
It's today when I was trying to talk to Duchess about this. I said, I would love to go on, but I don't even know if I could talk about this. And then just going through Twitter, I ran into a post by a poker player that, I watch because I'm a fan of poker. And he basically summed up about, what I felt. And it made me able to talk about this again and go and said, you know what, I need to go and I need to pull clips and I need to get online and talk about this. But this is what he said. Terrible news every day, but this one shook me. The up-close video is disturbing to say the least. Charlie just goes around, sets up a tent, talks to people, often at colleges, places of learning, ideas, discussions where this dialect should take place. It's exactly the type of behavior we should aspire towards in a functioning democracy. People who care enough to go around and discuss and spread their ideas. A democratic and free society is the marketplace of ideas. Sometimes the market disagrees with you, and that's just the way it goes. If you disagree with him or anyone, do the same. Set up your own tent. Talk to people about your ideas. Do it independently. Or even follow Kirk around, set up a tent next to him, and debate and debunk. This is a healthy dialect process, and it's the type of democracy I want to live in. But that's not what happened here. Truly, our society is sick. It's turning lazy and evil. People believe that the best thing to do is kill someone when they disagree with who they are, even if they are peacefully talking to others. So lazy that they can't even be bothered to take the time to confront and argue their side. And so arrogant that they believe someone who disagrees with them is in the wrong without actually engaging. So extreme that their solutions is to kill someone as relatively non-extreme as Kirk. It's disgusting and it's sad. Democracy is truly the God that is failing us, and witnessing this in real time, and people like this assassin are just the proof. And that was what gave me the, to get off your ass and stop feeling bad and just get up and start doing the work. And this is what we're doing. We're doing the work, and we're going to continue to do the work. Not like he did, but what we can do.
Well, they may have silenced him, but that we can't let that silence us.
No, it's not going to silence us.
We can't let that happen. And
wait till you see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah,
See what happens tomorrow.
I'm with you, John. I am with you, John. There's going to be an awakening.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Much like with the poor Ukrainian girl who they got no zero coverage until it hit the internet. We talked about this morning on the morning show. Is that regular news is irrelevant almost now, because all of this stuff that happens online is how we find out about things.
So,
and it's forced them to look at this Ukrainian girl and try to some narrative that doesn't work, because there's a video and you see a guy, and I'm not saying anything about race or anything. You just see an evil human being stand up and kill another human being in real life. Those things need to be seen by people that will be disgusted by it, and then say, you know what? We've been putting up with this too long. I've been voting for these people that have allowed this to happen. For crying out loud, it's time we stop. This person over here says, I have a better idea. Let's try that for once.
So the CNN George Costanza, I can't remember, he got fired once and they brought him
Brian
back.
Stelter.
Brian Stelter was on today, and he's sitting there talking about what happened to this woman. And he's basically saying that, it's not that she was killed by somebody, it's that Republicans pounce.
Of course.
And that they're using this to, basically be racist and be right about their racism.
What
and
balls?
I wanted to reach through the screen and grab him by his chubby little fucking neck and squeeze until he passed the fuck out.
John, did you hear this one this morning or this afternoon when CNN came out and said, someone comes out and goes, you know what it was? It was probably just some overzealous supporter just shooting their guns off in the air.
Yes.
Yeah, like we're in the old fucking West, right? Like we're in the old West.
Like you guys do when you get together,
John,
you just shoot your guns up.
John, I damn near got in my car and drove to CNN headquarters with my AR.
I'm telling you,
I damn near did it.
But it just shows you that they have no understanding of how guns work, or
Right.
how Republicans or conservatives are in the gun. That's what they think, that they're in the hood, and some hood rat's got a gun, is turning it sideways and just shooting. That's not how it works, and it just shows their stupidity. But they need some kind of narrative. They got to change the narrative. In other words, this is what has to happen.
And they're
the
good
light
at it.
is shining so bright on them. they have to deflect this light somewhere else. But
Yes.
I don't think they're going to be able to deflect this.
No,
This is
now the sun's out. Before it was
Yeah.
just a flashlight in the dark room. Now the sun's out and the roof is off the building.
No,
Well, they've made him
so-
a martyr. They've made Charlie a martyr,
Right.
and people have to. And again, never been an enormous fan of his, but you can't deny what great things he had done.
Yeah.
And now the outrage needs to have that ripple effect, and it needs to remind people and just stand up, be strong, don't hide. Do the
You
right
bring
thing.
You do something. You brought something up great, Duchess. You don't agree with everything. I don't either.
Mhm.
In fact, when I first started watching him, I thought he was just a douchebag,
Pompous asshole.
pompous asshole, douchebag. Just here's another right wing. Oh, holier than thou Christian. Oh, this is gonna
Little bit, yeah.
little bit. That's what I thought. And the more I watched him, I'm just like, okay, part of
Kinda
that's
makes
his
some
shtick.
sense.
You got to
Yeah.
have a little bit of something. Kind of Rush Limbaugh was, by anyone that knew him, one of the kindest human beings ever. But he portrayed himself as a completely egotistical. I'm the best person in the world on his show. That wasn't him. So I had to separate that because I was listening to what he was saying, what he was doing, and trying to find some behind the scenes stuff and talk to people that have met him and stuff. Like, no, this guy's the real deal. You don't understand. He's all in. And I'm like, okay,
When
this
he went
is
to
the way he.
Oxford-
But
when
he
went
also
to Oxford. When he went to Oxford,
Correct.
and he debated the people in Oxford.
Yeah, it was
great.
brilliant.
Yeah,
was
and
fun.
he's so quick and so smart and never went to college.
Yeah.
He's everything that they hate.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
everything
check
that they
it out.
promote, it's everything that they promote, but everything they hate at the same time because he did it.
I
Yeah,
saw
this
Because
was
they
at
promote-
Yankee Stadium today. They did a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. At Yankee
Oh,
Stadium.
at Yankee Stadium. God
Yeah.
bless New
Yeah.
York. All right,
New York. Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
hope.
because they're going to go through this tomorrow. They got to go through
Yeah.
the 24th year of the Twin Towers
9/11.
being attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I feel like, and just 2 weeks ago, wasn't it just 2 weeks ago? There was the school shootings, and then just before, there's just things are just falling off. Like it's like these horrific things happen, and then
I'm just
people
realizing
forget.
now.
Yeah.
I'm just realizing now that the way I felt today was the way I felt on
9/11.
9/11.
That's the last time I felt like
Exactly.
this. That exactly.
That's the
Well,
last
you just
time I
nailed
felt
it.
like this.
I
Yes.
want to just answer something that Boomer Bob put up 10 minutes ago. I missed this. He said that he appreciates my emotion. I'm like, thank you for saying that because I'm completely embarrassed by it. It's one of those. I'm a crier and it sucks, man. It sucks.
Don't worry about it, dude. I'm right with you.
Dude, I cried this
I'm a
morning.
crier, too.
I
I'm
cried
a
talking to
crier,
John
too.
earlier. I cried on this morning. Yeah,
It's hard. It's
You get to yell
hard.
at an
It's
open
hard when
area.
to me, Charlie was an
emotional.
icon. It was an
Right.
icon that I did not know that I followed loosely, but I knew the impact of what he meant to the people that followed him. And he had,
Right.
like you said, he had thousands and thousands of followers. He impacted a generation of kids
Millions.
that did not feel comfortable where they were at, and he made them feel comfortable. And he also made those people that were mostly against him feel comfortable also with honest answers and
Right.
honest dialogue, and which was most of them had never had in their whole life. And maybe, just maybe, they'll take something away from his death and go, maybe I do need to think about something. And it doesn't matter whether they're gay or trans or whatever the case may be. It really doesn't matter. If they just take a little bit away of what Charlie meant, then
This was Charlie.
He was a success, right?
This was his brilliance, and this is something I found out too in my political career. You're not going to change the mind of the radical moron that you're talking to. You're not going to change that person's mind, but the 17 people around them are going to start thinking. And once you get that thing, I was a radical. Hey, like I grew up in Massachusetts. Both my parents are school teachers. I went to Minneapolis to art school, for crying out loud. There is no more liberal world than I lived in, and I am not liberal anymore. Michael Dukakis was a friend of our family. I mean, we're that
Oh, I'm
level.
so sorry.
So he was a nice guy. He was a nice guy. Terrible candidate, but a nice guy. His family was great. I mean, just good people. But I'm not a liberal anymore because I saw it. Because I was able to, through just living life, going, wow, you're wrong about. You're just wrong. This doesn't happen like this, And
Well, the crying makes you a little bit of a liberal, but that's okay.
Oh,
Liberal leanings.
no, the crying makes me a pussy. And you know what they say, John? You are what you eat, Dick.
Oh.
A little levity. A little levity. I
mean,
I don't
wanna
mean
go-
anything bad by that. John,
If you
one
want to
of my
go there,
favorite
then you have to
people.
go. If you want to go there, then you have to go to that show. If you
Oh,
wanna
that's
go
right.
there.
That's our morning show. I'm sorry. Here I am, all serious again.
Go ahead,
Crying
Christian.
out loud. Trying to have a decent show here. Look at I screw it all up. Sorry, John. I apologize profusely for
Don't apologize.
killing your buzz.
Where was I going? Oh, yes. At one point back when Jordan Peterson was really, really popular, when he was kind of on his big initial ascent, I was paying attention to everything he did, and I have one of his books, and then he said, go and get this other book. So I got that book, and I haven't read much of it, but I did get it. And as I understand, and I think is it Dostoevsky? He was a Russian, and he was a Russian. He loved Mother Russia. He was on board. He was down for the struggle. And he did something, or his family did something, or somehow he ended up in a gulag in Siberia. And he thought he deserved it.
Yeah.
And he's had time because he's in a gulag. What else is he going to do but think?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he got to a point where he realized it's all wrong. It's all a big lie. And to win, we don't have to change in everything. We just have to get one person to stop telling the lie. And from there, somebody else will stop.
Exactly.
And somebody else will stop. And what did Charlie do? He started getting people to at least question the premise. Not necessarily stop telling the lie, but at least start thinking. So again, going back to the idea of our soon-to-be started revolution, get ready. Have ideas ready. So that when jackassery rears its ugly head in front of you, you have a cool, researched, and correct way to help them process that this all is just a mess. And it's okay to say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So in the world of cooler heads prevail, there's a part of that I believe in, part of it that we need to throw out the window. The cooler heads prevail right now that needs to be thrown out the window is the idea that you shouldn't speak what you need to speak. The cooler heads prevail that we need to deal with is something that I've practiced often. It's worked very, very well, especially in debates and political debates, where I get the other people so triggered that they look like lunatics while you stay calm, even though you're foaming at the mouth 10 times worse than they are. You need to keep your cool with it. You need to keep your cool with it. There's times to yell and scream, of course, but those times is when that's when it's just charge and there's violence happening. That's when you yell and scream. Other than that, again, the people that are around you are going to look, even if they disagree with you vehemently, they're going to be like, this other person sounded crazy.
Yeah.
This guy was making sense, and at least he wasn't crazy.
And you can do that if you practice.
Yep.
Look,
exactly.
This fight isn't over because I'm looking at Twitter right now, and there's a brewery in New Orleans, and they're already celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and now the right wants to go over there and burn the place down. So this could really get bad.
And the right needs to go in there with a bunch of bad motherfuckers and raise hell in that place. And if a fight breaks out, kick everyone's ass.
But you can't.
I'm sorry. You can't swing first, and you can't do it. And you knowing when you walk out of there, you're all getting arrested. You're going to look like morons and stuff like that. But it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's going
to start and it's going to end. But we've got some time in front of us that is just not going to look pretty for either side at all. I mean, really. No. I mean, this is a spark that has ignited a furor, and I'm praying for everybody right now that is all around. I'm cutting ties with some people just for the safety of themselves and myself. And it's unfortunate, but and I have a hard time sometimes, like I said, controlling myself. And if I'm around those who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, I'm going to punch somebody in the throat. And then I don't want to get punched in the throat being around people that I don't feel safe around. So I'm going to take a hiatus from those people. I might come back. I might not. A lot of people I've walked away from, I've never walked into again. And it's just the collateral damage that happens when some kind of tragedy is like this. So basically,
and Bruce, can I mention this, not to cut in on your thought here, but you and I said the same exact thing when the Democrats were killed in Minnesota.
Right, exactly.
We said the exact same thing. This is not a left or right thing. This is a humanity thing.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of people going to get fired in the next couple of days. Bruce, if you want to bring up what I have there.
Yeah.
Here's Amanda Dotson. She's a emotional support teacher in the district school district of Lancaster. Charlie Kirk was a racist, a xenophobe, transphobic, Islamophobe, sexist, white nationalist mouthpiece who made millions of dollars inciting hatred in this country. Whether he was his genocide denial, his transphobic tirades, his pushing for mass deportations or normalizing Trumpism for years, the man stood for nothing but hate. I extend absolutely no empathy for people like that. In this situation, my empathy is reserved for his children. May they grow up to live in a country that is the total opposite of everything their father envisioned. May all of our children grow up to live in a country that values their lives enough to take gun violence seriously and reject any person who would try to justify senseless gun related deaths, especially the death of children.
She works with children. Fuck her.
So here's how we do this now. This is called cancel culture. Everyone needs to call that Lancaster school system, share that thing with them and say, this person needs to be fired immediately, or we're going to have 200 people in front of your offices tomorrow. Saying this is a person that, again, if we don't use these tactics, it's not going to work.
The libs of TikTok are already on it. They already have the district of Lancaster. They already have the street, Lancaster, PA, the phone number. They're already on it.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. We use their own tactics. I've been saying this for Chris. You remember? Because Christian would help me when I was running the Tea Party, and I would sit out there and say, "All right, you guys, we need 27 people to show up at this place here next Tuesday," and then, "Oh yeah, everything's great," and stuff like that. You'd have one person show up, and that was usually me or Christian. If you're not going to get up and do anything, this is why I got out of political activism in the GOP, because there are a bunch of absolutely do nothings in the Midwest. And this is the kind of thing. So the libs of TikTok, good for you, because it's exactly what we need to be doing. These people need to have some real pressure, not from the law, but from society, to go down there and say, look it, you can disagree with the motherfucker. Even if he was all of those things, even if you were right about every bit of it, he didn't deserve to die. His children shouldn't be have no father now because of that.
Remember what I said about this? Could be there's some kind of like psyop about this. Like this was so if Bruce, if you can share my screen right now. So Candace Owens says, anybody knows anything about this, please comment below or email tips. A private jet under the tail number left Provo Airport an hour after the shooting. Suspiciously 30 minutes into the flight, it drops off of ADSB illegally and reappears heading back to Provo approximately an hour later. So I guess they turned off their transponder.
Oh, okay.
All right. So here's a private jet, hour after the shooting, leaves the airport, turns off the transponder, and then an hour later is found going back to Utah again.
You know what, Bob? My next coloring book is all going to be dots. I'm going to send it to you, and you're going to connect those fuckers. And you're going to make art, because that is you connecting some dots right there.
There you go. Well, tomorrow we're going to be on the Weather View. Some of us, if they get up in time, but we're going to talk about things that we should not forget, because tomorrow is a 911, and we should never forget about all kinds of things, and mostly about the media and the way that they shift things and the way that they talk about things, the way that they deceive us. Because personally, I don't watch the news. I get all my news and all my stuff from either somebody prompting me, or I go over to X and find a couple of things, and then I investigate them more and more and more. And that's how we do this show. It's how we do the morning show. It's how we do this show, the Weather Report on Sundays. If we're not doing entrepreneurial stuff, we're doing stuff like this. Unfortunately, I think on Sunday we're going to go kind of into the same direction. And
speaking of Sunday, Bruce,
yeah, go ahead.
I've reached out to our friend Representative Meckland from Minnesota.
Okay.
And I haven't got an exact confirmation yet, but I believe he'll be on our show to talk about what happened in Minnesota, this among other things, because right now
Absolutely.
in Minnesota there's a big gunfight about to happen, gun rights fight about to happen.
So glad I moved. I'm so glad I moved.
Me too.
Hey, listen,
What a
if we
shit
wanna-
show.
If you want to end on a happy note,
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Breaking news: MSNBC has fired Matthew Dow over his
Yes.
comments where he
Oh my
stated
God, yes.
Charlie Kirk deserved to be shot.
Wow.
Winner,
Ding, ding,
winner,
ding,
chicken
winner,
dinner.
winner,
I'll
chicken
sing for that.
dinner.
That's
Winner,
Now we're-
winner,
disgusting.
chicken
What a
dinner.
horrific
That is good
man.
news, Bob. Thank you for that.
Well, I'm sure that everybody knows that's tuning in that Duchess and Domingo are part of the Boomer Bunker, and they have their show on Monday and Thursdays at 3:30 or no 6:30.
6:30 Eastern.
5:30?
Eastern time. Eastern
5:30
time.
my time.
5:30. 5:30.
And that
And if you miss the show, you're really a douchebag because it's one of, it's so much better
it's
than
a
ours.
it's a show that you have to watch live to
Yeah.
totally get a lot out of
Because
it.
as I stated before, they do things like show prep.
Yeah.
We try.
Wait a second.
But John and Duchess, really, I appreciate you guys coming in and spending a little time with
Apologize
us
for the lateness.
and reflecting. That's okay, but reflecting on Charlie Kirk's life and actually doing a little bit of therapy session because both
Yeah.
me and Ken needed this tonight.
We were
I
both
did
on the
too.
ceiling.
Yeah, we were both on the ceiling, and it's very
Can't be
it's
both of
very
you at the
odd
same
that
time.
anybody has to take Ken off the ceiling. You always have to take me off the ceiling.
Yeah, you're always hyper, but if you gotta get Ken down, that's stressful.
And
Get
Christian,
him down
it's
with an
nice
old
to see you
fashioned though. I
again.
bet we could trick him down with that.
It's already-
Christian,
it's gone.
our long lost producer is
Nice
still
to
in the
you,
house when he
Christian.
comes by.
Yeah.
Bruce, you
Bruce
don't
is
need me
good.
as a producer right now. You've got enough of the show under control. I'm just sitting here being quiet.
And then me and Ken will be back on Sunday, and we're gonna have. Apparently, we might have Shane Mecklin on, which would be great. And if we can get Walter Hudson to back him up
I'm
too, that would
I'm
be
working on Walter.
fantastic. So we'll see how that goes.
Jamingo, you might want to look up Walt if you're not familiar with Walter
Oh,
Hudson.
you love
Duchess,
Walter.
too.
He's amazing.
He's a black conservative activist, and now he's a representative in Minnesota, and he is absolutely on fire. You will love this guy. So check out Representative Walter Hudson. Go to his YouTube page. He has.
I think we talked to him on election night. I think.
Yeah, election night he was on with us.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was
Guy's
with us.
guy's fantastic. Watch him because he has national. I don't know that he has national aspirations, but he's got the talent to be national. So
Could
So
be.
CNN is on right now, and they're saying that the manhunt for Charlie Kirk's killer, no one's in custody.
Yeah.
And the law enforcement analysis is Charlie Kirk's killer was a skilled sniper, wasn't
No
an
shit.
amateur. Who got an
Duh.
individual who went to a rooftop dressed in dark clothing, found a sniper's perch, made a very long shot. A single shot resulted in his assassination. This is
They're
the
full
kind
of
of person
shit.
that would have planned to get in silently, be invisible, take the shot, accomplish the mission, take the gun with them, and leave little evidence behind. This tells you that this person was not new to shooting, that they understood exactly what type of long rifle to bring, what type of optics in terms of scopes and sights to have on that, and the windage and what might affect the shot from that distance. This is someone who knew exactly what they were doing and is probably known to others. This wasn't an amateur. And then you take that and then go along with the plane that flew, and then the transponder went off, and then all of a sudden it came back on again. And then these two other people that were arrested that looked like they were part of the shooting, and they thought they had them. And now you've got yourself a nice conspiracy. Where's the tinfoil for my hat?
that's right. To which I would say 40% of the people that own guns in the Midwest fit that description,
There we go.
because 40% of the people out here could hit something at 300 yards without a problem.
But not everybody has a private jet.
Yeah, and now the
They do though. You were out here. Mostly that's how we fly out here. We just don't try. We just don't tell anybody. No, I'm with you, John. There's going to be more to this story.
something stinks. I'm telling you that right now.
Something stinks to
Something
high heaven.
stinks.
Remember, people are not good at holding secrets. People cannot hold secrets very long. Somebody, if this is a tinfoil hat time, somebody knows something.
Oh, somebody ended up dead. Somebody else.
Well,
All right. Well, Bruce, thank you for letting me come on here and hang out with you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just going to take a moment of silence right now and just go ahead and remember Charlie Kirk. So there we go. We'll see you guys tomorrow.